Says we're live. What's up, guys? Sonny the Badger here. Angie Mama Badger is not around. She's on an airplane headed to Missouri. Going to spend a couple weeks with my sister, her and my oldest daughter, Neve. So I'm home alone for 2 weeks. Who the hell knows what's going to happen with me being home alone for 2 weeks? That's all the notifications on my phone telling me that I went live. Hey, at least it notifies me when I do something. Otherwise, how would I know that I just went live? Anyway, what's up, guys? How's everybody's week? Looks like flipping the blue mule. We're here first. Hey. DS Joyrides still in Dallas. Awesome. Anyway, guys, I'll hop on here, say hello, tell us where you're watching from. Anything pertinent about yourself, definitely put it on here. You guys probably saw my title about what tonight's video is about. Hey, Mandy the Machine's in the house. What's going on, Mandy? Anyway, so you saw the title of what this live is about, and kind of all of this went crazy, right? So, what was it, 2 weeks ago? Two and a half weeks ago, I put out a video talking about an experience I had in Springfield, Missouri, when I went to get a rear tire for my bike. And they asked me about my front tire, and I was like, look, it's brand new. It's got 1,600 miles. Well, they don't match, so we won't replace just one tire. We're going to have to replace both of them. So instead of $400, they went $800. And I told them where they could go and just how quickly they could get there. Anyway, I did a video on that, and it kind of blew up. I think it has, I don't know, maybe 65,000 views right now, and probably 1,000 comments. Crazy. See who all's here. Thomas, what's up? Quincy, Illinois in the house. Solo Blade, what's going on? Kenneth from the Lunchbox Cafe. If you guys are ever in that area, go check it out. We had breakfast there. It was awesome. Somebody asked if my bike made it back, didn't they? iPhone 10. It is not. I think it's slated to be here tomorrow, if I remember correctly. The only reason I remember is tomorrow is June 14th, which is my 25th wedding anniversary, and Mama Badger will be in Missouri. I will be in Florida. I will say this, in 25 years, this is the first wedding anniversary we spent apart. So that's interesting for our 25th. But we're kind of unique. I mean, we literally spend every day, all day with each other because we live together, we work together, we ride together. So, not that big a deal when you see each other. I mean, literally 24/7, 365. What's going on, man? How was Hot Springs Bike Fest? You guys were there this last weekend, right? Looks like everybody was having a good time. New York, all right. Springfield, Missouri, but I live in Lebanon and love the Lunchbox. Fantastic. Wind Road. What's going on? Where are you at, Wind Road? Are you back in Florida yet? 9 Mills on 2 wheels. The bike is here in Florida. We made it back at 1:30 this morning. Woohoo! Bike is here. Speaking of that, I've never been to the dealership in Springfield, but I've gotten excellent service from Ozark Harley Davidson in Lebanon, Missouri. I've heard they're really good. Now, didn't they just shut down like the Lebanon location and they just left Lake of the Ozarks open? I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think that is true. You know, I'll say this much. I didn't get screwed because I knew better. And fortunately, I had enough resources that I could put a question out there and I could get some answers and I could get a hold of some places and find a good place. Don and Sons on, what's that, Chestnut Expressway, Route 66. They did me right. They were awesome. And if you ever need repairs, I highly recommend Don and Sons. I didn't get screwed because I was like, I'm not going to do that. So I found another way. But I guess what I found out from doing that video is this is a huge issue. A lot of dealerships have. I thought, man, Harley Davidson has an issue, and they do. But what I found out is all the dealerships seem to have this issue. They do not have good service departments. Most people are like, man, I feel like I'm treated like a second-rate person. They would rather sell me a new bike than fix the bike I currently ride, which I'm sure they would. But the truth of the matter is, if I bought a bike from you and then I bring it back to you for service, and you don't want to service it, or you give me crappy service, that definitely does not encourage me to buy another bike from you. And You represent whatever brand, right? I'm sorry, if it's got Harley Davidson logo on it, you should work on it. A lot of the dealerships will not touch a bike that's like 15 years old or older. Um, I'm sorry, if it's got your logo on it and you're the dealership, it doesn't matter what year it is. You should work on it. I mean, you do represent the brand that built that bike. Why would you not work on it? So the more the more comments and everything I get on this video, the more I'm learning that across the country we have a huge service issue, not just motorcycles, cars, and everything. The customer is always right does not exist anymore. A lot of these dealerships treat you like you're privileged to walk through their doors, buy their parts, buy their bikes, have your bike serviced there. It's bad, from everything that I've heard. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some great dealerships out there. I did a video last Friday, and this one's done really well too. It's got like 11,000 views on it, about an experience I had a year ago on the world record poker run, where I went, had a rear wheel changed. They put a bunch of weights on it to get it to balance out and sent me down the road. The problem is I had a wheel problem, and putting all those weights on it just covered up that problem. What should have happened was they should have said, sir, you have a wheel issue. We are closing for the night. And we would have stayed the night and we could have figured out the wheel issue the next day. Instead, they put an excessive amount of weight on it and sent me down the road. And 3 or 4 states later, when my bike started wobbling all over the road, I found out that I had a bad wheel. Went to Capital Harley Davidson in Wisconsin, and guys, no, not Wisconsin, Michigan. My mistake. Lansing, Michigan, I believe. But anyway, in Michigan, and they hooked me up. They found out it was a bad wheel. They actually had a Fat Boy wheel somewhere around there. They cleaned it up. They put it on my bike, and they sent me down the road. And that was an awesome, awesome experience, at that dealership. But I travel around to a lot of dealerships. Right now, I've had more bad experiences than I've had great experiences. So I think these dealerships really, really need to step up their game. Service should be, in my mind, like top of the list, right? Because once I buy the bike, I'm going to come in and I'm going to get oil changes and tires and all the maintenance work and all the work that I need done, period. And while I'm there, I'm probably going to buy stuff and I'm going to look at bikes and all that stuff. All of that comes in to play. So the minute that you don't service my bike and I'm going someplace else to get that service, I am not in your dealership nearly as much. Some people will never go back to the dealership just because of the experience they had. So it's pretty ridiculous. All right, guys, I'm going to catch up on some of these. All right, bikes in Florida, we got that. Dealership in Springfield. It wasn't up to par. I just went one night. Was way better when it was in the convention center. I've never been to it, so I have zero like dog in this fight. But it did look like it was a good time. I'm not sure either. I've been living in Springfield a couple of years now. All right. I'm in Florida right now. I have 3 stops this week in Sarasota, Lake City, and Lakeland. Sarasota, that's only about an hour from me. Wind Road saying hi to everybody. All right, what do we got? 35 years ago, I worked at Cycle Parts West in San Diego, and we changed this one tire at a time all the time. Of course, we always try to sell the customer the best, and most customers agree for safety. You want the best, but there's always that certain customer that just wants the best price, so they get a cheap Chinese tire. They're still up on 2 wheels, so can't say anything bad about that, I guess. It's about what is your house worth to you? All right, fair enough. Well, I mean, I was paying top. I had 1,600 miles on my front tire, and I was paying top dollar for a rear tire. So for me, it would have been utterly ridiculous for me to replace a tire with 1,600 miles on it. Just wasn't going to do it. Kenneth had a good time at Hot Springs. Harley Davidson should work on their own products regardless of age. Right. They built it, right? It's got the Harley Davidson name tag on it. They should work on it. Period, plain and simple. There should be no, well, if it's over 15 years old, we're not going to work on it. Bullcrap. Shouldn't exist. It's your product. Work on it. If you don't know how, that's not on me, right? Train your technicians. If you have to train them all the way back to 1903, then train them. I mean, that's what you're there for. That's why we pay you a premium. Let's face it, guys, these dealerships charge the highest service rates, right? And unfortunately, most of them do the lowest quality service work. So we pay the most and get the least. How does that make sense? We go to them, just like I said, the reason I called the Harley dealership in Springfield was because I didn't know any of the local places. So as somebody that rides cross country, you should always be able to call your local Harley dealership and know you're going to have great product, great service, great work. And you should always feel confident in that, because for me, one of the most attractive things of Harley Davidson is their dealership network, right? Everywhere you go, you're not that far from a dealer should you need it. But anymore, it seems like that doesn't matter, right? Because they're not doing a very good job on the service side. And like I said, that's not all of them. I've heard some good stories. But if you go look up that video here on YouTube, you can read hundreds of comments of bad experiences. So the bad ones far outweigh the good ones in those comments anyway. So check it out. All right, I skipped forward. I have no idea where I'm at. All right, let's see. Plant City, I got you. C Customs. Service is a reason why I don't buy from my home store. It is ridiculous. There you go. I mean, that's it. Service and parts, and completely ghosted the dealer that sold me my newest bike. Straight trash customer service. We're in Texas now, surface of the sun. Just so you know, Florida is hot too. Won't get my bike serviced at the local Harley dealership. So guys, this is it. This is what I keep getting repeatedly, is I'll never go back to the Harley dealership for service. So if you don't need to go to them for service, and you don't need to go to them for t-shirts and boots and all that stuff, right? And you can go buy used bikes offline, then what purpose is the dealer going to serve, right? Just to sell new bikes? Well, they're not making that many of those right now. So where's the dealership make up that money? How do they get people in their doors if people won't go back there? Two great dealerships, one middle of the road and one I hate here. So out of four, you got two that are good, one that's and the other one is like, no freaking way. I see no reason to replace that front tire if they don't match. It's about tread and air. That's all good. It's all got good tread and hold there, right? I mean, I've never had an issue. I've ran mismatched tires for years. I've never had an issue. I imagine it could happen. Anything could happen. But I don't buy it personally. First time seeing you live, I gotta say you and I are on the exact same page. Everything that you've got to say is spot on with my way of thinking to you. Oh, well, thanks for joining us, Mike. All these people you see in the comments, they're here all the time. And a lot of them are Facebookers. Toby Northern, Wind Road. Go check all of them out. If you like motorcycle content, a lot of these people do motorcycle content, so I would definitely check them out. Lady Tam, what's up? HD is not consistent from dealership or service part. They're not. They're not consistent at all. It's kind of like the McDonald's experience, right? You go into every McDonald's and they're the same, right? They have the same menu. Everything works the same way, looks the same way. Um, I feel like Harley needs to do more of that because you should be able to go into any Harley dealership and get excellent service, and it just doesn't exist. 87 Softail last Friday. Now my imagination is spinning on what I'm going to do with it. Awesome. Well, it's an 87, so the Harley dealership will probably not work on it, and that's sad. Maybe you should contact the Harley Davidson company. Maybe the dealership needs to retrain their mechanics. That's true. I don't know who's in charge of training, whether it's the dealership, whether it's corporate, how that works. I will say this: the one store that wouldn't replace my rear tire, one of their like directors of operation actually reached out to me, and we had a phone conversation last week after I got back, and he was just picking my brain, trying to figure out how they could better do stuff. One of the things was that tire, right? And he's like, well, that's Harley Davidson's policy that they won't do mismatched tires. And I said, look, I don't believe in that policy, but if that is truly the policy, then you guys should have a list of people to send me to. So you should have said, you know what, we can't touch that, but why don't you call Don and Sons? Why don't you call this shop? They can take great care of you. Then I would not have felt so bad. I would have been upset that you wouldn't put a tire on, but at least you helped me by saying, we can't do it, but here's a solution versus we can't do it and hanging up the phone. So here I am traveling cross country in town. The Harley dealership basically tells me to go jump in the creek, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do for a tire. That's how you left it. Fortunately, with social media, I got a hold of my friends and people in the area, and they're like, here, try this. And what I did was I called a place called Jeans. And Jeans answered, and they're like, we don't have that size tire. You should call Don and Sons. Called them, they had it, they took great care of me. But that was the difference. Jeans didn't have the tire, and they sent me to somebody that did. They didn't just leave me hanging trying to figure out, okay, who do I call next? So just little things like that could make the experience way better. If it's something you can't do, then provide me a source or a resource that can do what I need done. Just like the old bikes, if you're not going to work on them, then you need to find a good local shop so that you can go, you know what, we don't work on those, but you can go to this guy. At least help them some. All right, I'm off my soapbox. Geez, I know I sound like I'm bitching a lot. You're right. We do have beaches everywhere, and old people. We have lots of old people. Bluegrass Harley Davidson. They're good. Awesome. So, can I get a question answered? So, my run in with HD and hearing all of this about HDs, why buy HD? I have a perfectly running bike that's not a HD. Is it really worth it? All right, Solo, here we go. I too have owned many different bikes. I've owned Hondas, I've owned Yamahas. Um, Harley is my bike of choice. There is nothing out there that feels like it, sounds like it, is it, right? It's my it. I've owned the other ones. I've sold the other ones. I have never bought a Harley and sold it. I own every Harley that I've ever bought. I don't know. I can't. I don't know how to explain it. Um, I've always said if you ride it, you'll understand. There's just something about it. The look, the feel, the sound. It's an experience. The other thing is the aftermarket is huge. I don't need the dealership, right? I can get S&S, fueling, all these companies make all the parts I could possibly want. I can go to JP Cycles, I can go to Revzilla. I can basically rebuild my bike from head to toe and never walk into a Harley Davidson dealership again. So the aftermarket support for Harley Davidson is unlike anything else out there. And then, I've had a lot of people go, well, why don't you buy an Indian? Well, if you guys know who Salty from Salty and Sprinkles is, he literally did a video today of how crappy his Indian was, and he got rid of it. It was the Indian Challenger. He got rid of it for another Indian, and I don't think he's having any issues with the new Indian. But the only Indian Challenger was nothing but problems, and he did a list of 5 things he disliked about it. So are there other great bikes out there? There are. Just none of them do it for me like Harley Davidson does. And like I said, I just don't know how to explain that. Yes, if an HD dealership has a bad service department, then it hurts their warranty sales. Um, you know, Well, the other thing it hurts is the moment that it's out of warranty, I'm never going back there. So you're going to do all the free work, right? And then I'm never going to pay you to do any work because all your other work was so crappy. The only reason I even walked in there was because, well, it was under warranty. Sinister Clutch is in the house. What's up? You have a good one. Awesome. I mean, there are some good ones out there. Do not get me wrong. But, you know, I've got a lot of bad ones out there, and that makes me sad. Dude, I'm way behind, ain't I? Holy moly, where is my. Whew. I'm going to try to do it. I'm prettier in person? Wow, thank you. Always. Windroad hauled my bike back. I should get it back here soon, and I can take it apart and figure out what's wrong with it. I will say this, though. Red is ready to go. So should silver need an overhaul, I will do that this winter. I will take the bags off, the seat off, the windshield off of silver. I will put it on red. Red's ready to rock. I checked the tensioners, the timing chain tensioners today. Everything's good there. Tires are good, brakes are good. It is literally ready to go on a long trip for about 2.5 months to Sturgis. So either way, not a big deal. But I'm going to get silver here. I'm going to tear it apart and figure out what's wrong with it. And then we'll decide if it's a big repair. I'll probably wait till winter to do it, and I'll do a bunch of videos on it. If it's a quick repair, I'll probably repair it and probably take it to Sturgis because it would be my preferred bike to ride for sure. Not a fan of the ones up here. Avoid when possible. Look for some all bike dealers by word of mouth when traveling. I agree. The problem is, we pull into town late at night or, in the middle of the afternoon. We don't really have time to do research. We got a tire, a nail, a knock, whatever it may be. I will say this, when we were in West Virginia and Sober started knocking, we had pulled over in this gravel parking lot trying to figure out what we're doing. And Angie and Windroad waved down a Harley dealership there locally. And they pulled the van over and loaded up my bike, took it to their dealership and unloaded it where Tim's buddy brought his truck and trailer to get my bike. And guys, I mean, what a blessing. They saved us probably another hour and a half worth of time because they stopped, and they didn't have to, right? They did not have to stop at all. It was RG's Almost Heaven Harley Davidson. So, guys, I've not dealt with their service department, but this guy was a representative of their dealership, and as of right now, man, they're top tier because this guy, like I said, he was off the clock, headed to drop the van off. He could have saved himself an hour's worth of time and been home to his wife, but he stopped. He loaded my bike. He took me to the dealership. That's the type of service I'm talking about. He didn't know me from Adam. He just knew I was riding a Harley and I needed help. All right. Flip trusts Brandon HD the best around here. Awesome. I've not had any dealings with them. here locally, like I use a local shop for the stuff that I don't do. I've got a relationship with Burt's because I used to work there, so a lot of times I'll get my parts there. But guys, for the most part, I do all my own service, and I'm this close to buying a tire machine and doing all my own tires, just for the fact that then I've got hands on everything. I can make sure every nut is tight, every bolt is torqued, every tire is filled. I just have, when you ride as much as we do, I just that that security of mind that I did it. I tightened it all down. Everything was good. I double checked it and triple checked it, and then I'm responsible for it. I've never heard of that policy from any dealer. So I will tell you what the gentleman told me. He told me that that is a policy from Harley Davidson, not from the dealerships. They're pretty new. They've only owned Harley dealerships for a couple of years, and they're towing the line. Um, I've never heard of that either, and I literally worked at Harley, but I didn't work in the service department, so I can't verify or disprove that at all. Um, Pretty stupid if you ask me, but whatever. The truth of the matter is they have the right to do whatever they want, right? I have the right to tell everybody what they did and that I will never go back there again. So that's a choice they have to make as well as a choice that I have to make. My choice was, and I'm going to keep doing this, guys. If something happens, good or bad, I'm going to put it out there. You deserve to know. Everybody deserves to know. You make your mind up whether you're on my side, their side, there is no side, and you choose to do whatever you want. But at least I can say, I told you about it. Here's what happened to me. That's what customer feedback surveys are for, and the dealer management and corporate should be monitoring the feedback. So I think most of the customer service feedback forms are for warranty work. I don't know how much they do for just everyday work. I've never got a survey from them. Um, and the funny thing is, I'm not really a survey person, but I would stop and fill one of those out. But I don't know how much attention they pay to that other than the warranty side. I don't know who that is, but hey, Kenneth, that is a BS tire policy. It is. I mean, come on, guys. New to your page, enjoy this live feed. Thanks, Porter. Welcome to Badger Nation. Um, we love having you, but you like jumping over creeks. I do. I've jumped over a couple. Not on the bike, though. Went to Two Broke for Sturgis, a good ride, but not many vendors. Bummer. Well, maybe they'll have more next time. Buck Champ's in the house. How's that new bike, buddy? Their solution should have been having you sign a waiver. You understand there can be an issue. I suggested that too. And they're like, well, we talked to our attorney, and the attorney said, even if you sign a waiver, you can sue us. The truth of the matter is, I can walk in there and say I twisted my ankle, and I can sue you. I can sue anybody at any time for anything I want. Whether I'll win or whether I won't doesn't stop the fact that I have the ability to sue. Well, that is our society. So, have them sign a waiver. At least that gives you some protection, right? Or you can just say no. I mean, I'm sure this is going to sound bad, but sorry, I'm getting notifications of people commenting on that video on YouTube. But I guarantee you that them not putting that tire on for me has cost them way more than anything else. Because I have a lot of people that are like, that's BS. I'll never go there. And yeah, that sucks. Kansas City's in the house. What's up? I do not like playing in the creeks. I need my .4 change soon. Is it .4 or .5? It's .5, right? Mine's .5. For my 2005, everything's DOT5. If you're talking about brake fluid, which I think you are, mine's .5. I imagine HD shops don't want liability. So they can't work on anything. I mean, I guess, if they don't want any liability, then they can't work on anything, because I can't tell you the stories I've heard of leaving bolts loose and pulleys coming off. And I mean, things can happen. You're in the mechanical world. So if you want no liability, then don't do any work. Don't have a service department. But they're all going to have that. So, uh, the best thing is, so here's the other thing. They're like, if the tires were matching, we would change them. So if I had two Dunlop, let's say 404s on there, right? And the front 404 is bald, and the rear is showing cord. And I don't want to replace the front, but I want to replace the rear. They will do that. Front tire is bald, but they're matching. So you see the issue there? I had a brand new tire on the front. So there was no issue at all, other than it wasn't matching tread. So, sorry guys, I'm trying to catch up. Sinister Clutch. No, unfortunately, I can't, because I already planned a 2-week vacation in July. Where are you going in July? Well, that just means that the local motorcycle shops that know how to work on HD brand are going to get a lot more customers for work. You're right. I told Angie this the other day. I would love to see somebody with a lot of money start opening up really nice motorcycle shops across the country, where all like big Harley Davidson dealerships are. I imagine that they would be so busy that they couldn't. Look at John Maxwell, the Harley tech. He went out on his own and he has a little shop. He has more work than he can do. He's working late every night. That's why you don't see videos from him. He is busier than a one-legged man in a butt-kicking contest. And I imagine if there was somebody out there that built dealership like shops, big, clean, nice shops, they would have so much work that they couldn't keep up. I just don't have the time or the money or will to do that. But I think somebody should. You guys are welcome to take that idea. And it's all about the HD community. Sorry. Correct. Right? We're a community. Goodness. I'm talking too much. I need Angie here so I don't have to talk the whole time. Anyway, you're right. We're all a big community. There are, hundreds of thousands of Harley riders, and we all talk to each other, right? So one bad experience is now, who would have thought 60 some thousand people would have watched my one bad experience, but now it's a 60,000 people bad experience. HD dealers don't want the liability of referrals. Okay. I mean, I guess the guy, so when I told him this, he's like, we had never thought of that. And I think he was going to take it back to the bigwigs and see about something like that. So I don't know what's going to become of that, but he's like, we never really thought of that. Like I said, just don't leave people hanging. If you're not going to do it, then send them down the road. And it doesn't have to be that we think this person will do a good job or anything. You could say 3 or 4. We got 3 or 4 great shops here. Here's blank, blank, and blank, and then send them down the road. Most athletic thing I should Sonny do. He jumped the creek from a standstill like an Olympian. Look, I am an athletic son of a gun. If you haven't seen that, we have that on video anywhere. All right, guys. So we were in West Virginia, and I forget, everybody had gotten off their bikes and they left me. I'm doing something on my bike, and I look up, and all of them have left me. They've walked down, and they're walking around the creek, and just took off without me. So I took the shortcut. I went down the bank and jumped the creek and met them on the other side. So it was a necessity because they left me. It's their fault. HD versus Indian for me came down to where I can get service, even if it's shitty. So, that's another thing. You're exactly right. It does not have the dealer network that Harley has. I had another guy hop on and he's like, why not pick Indian? You know, they have all this heritage and all. And I'm like, Indian, I think, makes a good motorcycle. And I don't want to offend anybody by what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. This Indian is not the Indian from 1901. 1954, Indian went out of business, and then it was passed around like a redheaded stepchild all through history, right? And then what? A few years ago, Polaris bought it, and basically they bought it to replace their Victory line. They were hoping for a name brand that would help them sell more bikes. Um, Look, guys, Polaris is still Victory and Indian is still Victory. Did they change the bike? Sure. They made them look a little different, but they quit making Victory and they started making Indian. So they don't have the heritage. They don't have that long, line of history. Uh, they're probably great bikes, but they don't have the dealer network. They just don't have some of the stuff that Harley has. But like I said, I'm sure they're great bikes. This is Southwest Florida. I too have the only Harley that I bought. I love my Harley. I hate the company. I love the bike. I hate the company. Um, there is something. Hey, Paul, what's up? There's something to that. It has a lot to do with the history of the Harley Davidson. It's hard to explain, but I'm a Harley chick and I might be other ones out there, but nothing vibrates like a Harley. Well, the vibration doesn't do a whole lot for me. But there is, like I said, I don't know how to explain it. It's freaking Harley. I don't know what else to say. They all make good ones and they all make bad ones. My Harley is also my choice. There you go. I had somebody go, hey, buy a Ducati. Guys, Ducati makes some awesome machines, but I look at them and I'm just like, they're ugly. Um, you know, it's kind of like wives and girlfriends. We all don't like the same look. Um, so to each their own. Pick your pick your poison. This right here is the key to the competition. 20 steps to wax. All right, guys, I'm trying to catch up. You guys talk a lot. Guys, thanks for hanging out with me tonight. I know there's 1,000 other places you could be and 1,000 other things. Hey, I have riders in the house that you could be doing, and you're not. You're here hanging out with me, having a good time, and I appreciate that. DS Ride summed it up. I respect and appreciate all bike brands, but if a bike breaks down in the middle of nowhere, the odds of a nearby HD dealer and other is much greater. Look, guys, I said this the other day. When I was broke down in West Virginia, I didn't see a Honda, Indian, Kawasaki, Yamaha. I didn't see a single one of those vans come by, but a Harley Davidson van came by. I don't know what else to tell you. I know it was luck of the draw. But the truth of the matter is, there was only one that came by, and it was a Harley Davidson van. My solo mechanic since 2011 is in the area was Ozzy in St. Pete, but a car took him out a while back. Oh, I hate to hear that a car took somebody out, and I hate that you don't have a mechanic anymore. Go Army, beat Navy. Here we go, guys. Service after the sale is key. I think so. I mean, buying the bike is one thing, but keeping the bike running is another. I don't trust any dealership. I do all my work except for tires. So I'm the same way. I try to do all my own work except for tires. And I'm really, like I said, I'm this close to buying a tire machine and doing all my work, including tires. The only problem is I can't do tires on the road. So I still have to count on somebody when I'm traveling and I need a tire. And let's face it, that's probably the most common thing. Either you wear one out. I had one guy jump on me and he's like, well, why wouldn't you change the tire before you leave? Because the trip was a 13,000-mile trip. Tires wear out in that amount of time. So no, I didn't change it. I'm not going to change a tire that still has 6,000 or 8,000 miles on it. just to change it. So, I needed one along the way. I knew I was going to. That's just the way it is. Buck Champ just had his 1,000 miles. So you've been putting some miles on it. Cool. Oh, it's Toby. What's up? Riding in the Ozarks. What's going on, man? How are you doing? Everybody's saying, hey, hey, hey. Sorry, I'm trying to get down here. 2017 brake fluid, dot 4. 2017, maybe. I mean, it would seem weird that they went like, maybe ABS. I don't have ABS, so maybe that's why mine's dot 5 and yours is dot 4. But mine is, I will go there. I just won't buy tires there. Atlanta, Georgia. What's up? Okay, I'm out for the night. Y'all have a great night. Stay safe. DS, see you later. 9 Mills. What's going on, man? How are you? Busted Knuckles is in the house. Tacos is here. Crap, I was just talking shit about his Indians too. I was not. I like tacos. I like his Indian. It's his Indian. The only person that has to like it is him. Oldest continued operating local Harley repair shop here, the Hog Farm. Interesting. My buddy's dirty shop with plywood interior. I don't care to pay for fancy buildings. I want quality workmanship. I get that. I was more so referring to that look, right? I'll use, since you're in the area, you probably know who Rick's Automotive is in Springfield, Missouri. They have this really nice building, and he was super picky about that automotive shop. Everybody had to have the same color toolbox. Everybody had to keep stuff clean. I mean, he was super anal about it, but everybody liked it because it was clean. He built trust and so on. So from you and I that are kind of ingrained in the biker community, the dirty old bike shop is great with us because we know that guy knows what he's doing. But for the general public, they're looking for that place that the look gives them kind of an ease of, oh, this is a great place. So anyway, Maxwell's YouTube is still growing currently. He is. Yeah, he hasn't put a video out in a year, and he's still growing because he did great videos. He did searchable content. ABS blinks 50% of the time. That's not good. I guess that's why I don't have any kind of that new modern stuff. I just ride the old stuff. Oh, let's see. Spring Mike, hey from Wyoming. What's up? Going on? I'm scrolling. This conversation makes me appreciate how fortunate I am with my dealership. Top notch. Awesome, Michael. Well, where are you located? What's your dealership? Because I want people to know the good places too. It's not all bad. I want the good stories and the bad stories so people know, hey, this place will take care of me. Because if you need one, you want somebody to take care of it. You were talking, we were typing, correct. Indian doesn't have the dealer network or the history you speak of, but my lady still drops panties and rattles windows. Does it drop panties so that you can use the panties to hold it together? Or I'm just kidding, man. Anyway, guys, like I said, Indian, I'm sure, has a great product. I've never owned one. I can't speak from that experience. But I rode next to one in the Great Plains Moto Meetup, and it did good. I love how your logo looks like a motorcycle fairing. Great, thanks, man. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. You buy what makes you happy. If you want an Indian, there you go. I agree. Nothing wrong with any of them. Heritage Springer, and that's why I do my own work. Perfect. Dealers depend a lot of the relationship you develop with them. My local guy is the same way too. He will do stuff for me he would not do for a stranger just because I've sent him. That's it, guys. You build those relationships. The challenge is, I have people here locally that, well, I'll give you an example. The night of the World Record Poker Run, Tim was having a problem with his shifter. And so that the day of, I called my local guy and I was like, look, I need the shifter rod and the shifter. Do you have one? And they didn't, but they had another bike. So they took that part off the bike in there that they were trying to sell and gave it to me and ordered a new one for the bike that they were going to sell. So they couldn't sell that bike for a few days till they got the new part, but they took it off because we needed the part. So that's the stuff you get from the local guys, you don't get from anywhere else. The problem is when you travel across country, you don't have access to your local guys. So having good dealerships or good repair shops across the country would be awesome. And that leads me to supportbikers.com. Guys, if you have a local dealer and you're talking to him, have him go on supportbikers.com and put his free listing in there. So then we have a list that we can go to of all these local shops should we need one. Whew, am I catching up? It's hot, damn hot. You know, I've been getting heat warnings for like West Virginia and all. Is it hot up there, guys? Okay, so it is .4. I'm imagine that's probably the ABS. I was shocked when mine was .5. I was really surprised. So interesting how it would be .5 older and then newer gets a different dot. Usually it goes up, right? .1, .2, .3. You'd think you would have like a .6 if I'm a .5. Yeah, tacos is down here, enjoying that heat. I could care less for the dealer network. I have no use for it whatsoever. And that's great. If you don't need anybody, if you don't travel I mean, where the dealer network really comes in handy is when you're traveling. We travel probably 25,000 miles a year. So that's where that dealer network is important to me anyway. Even if it's just to stop and pick up a part or something. If they have it in stock, which is another challenge they're having right now is getting parts. Oh, Atomac. Oh, I've heard of them. Awesome. That's good to hear. Yeah, I mean, you just never know, right? Yeah, Mike. I think I talked to Mike a couple was it a week ago? I don't even remember, man. I know I talked to him. I know it's getting worked on. How's it going, Mike? There you go. Mike, how's the bike? Give us an update. His iPhone had nothing to do with the shifter. Had a vibration in the front of my 21 Road Glide Special, took it to the closest dealer. Kid came out and sat on the bike, pushed down on the handlebars twice, and said, everything feels good to me. All right, guys. So, um, whatever happened to the attention to detail? I feel like that is missing. A lot of the complaints people were getting was I went in for an oil change and they didn't even wipe the oil off. Guys, that's a pretty simple thing to do, and can really keep people coming back. I feel like that is what's missing, and that's what scares me. Because if you have a lack of attention to detail on a motorcycle, that means maybe you leave an axle nut a little loose. You know, the only thing between me and the asphalt are the two pieces of rubber and that bike. So any little missed detail can be really bad. I remember when I worked on cars, that was my biggest fear. I forgot something and somebody was going to get hurt. It was going to damage something. And, that was so I was always double, triple checking my work to make sure that it was done and done right. And the thing about a car is you have a metal cage around you and you have four tires So a lot less likely, even if a lug nut wheel came loose, that it's going to be a huge, huge deal. Motorcycle, on the other hand, front wheel, rear wheel comes loose. That's a whole nother story. So, it's a big deal. Found a shop just a few miles from me that I didn't know before. Fixed my Sportster. Awesome. I love the local shops. They're just hard to come by when you're on the road. It's hot in West Virginia. I'm loving it. The hotter, the better. I figured you were, but I bet poor Tim's melting. The dealer in my area lets me ride bikes for YouTube and come shoot video of new bikes. I have never bought a bike there. I have built a relationship. Well, I agree. They're not all bad. In fact, that same dealer, you were talking Lake of the Ozarks, right? I've had quite a few people say that they were great. I will just send a message. Okay. They're going to bore the cylinders, should be getting them back in 2 to 3 weeks. Got to get back on the road all. Have a great night. Take it easy, Sonny. Sorry I couldn't make it down this time, but I'll see you in Sturgis. All right, man. Be safe. Have a good, safe trip, and we'll see you in Sturgis. Mega dealerships are one of the reasons why their overhead is so high. That's not wrong. And I think Harley's pushing more and more for those mega dealerships. They want everybody to have a mega dealership, which is just going to make all this stuff worse, I think. Awesome. The other dealer in Louisville changed my bars for me, left a lot of play in the bars, went back and they fixed it, but found the plastic inside the ignition was shattered. Didn't catch it the first time. So, yet again, attention to detail, right? What would have happened had those bars come completely loose while you're traveling down the road? That type of attention to detail is missing. Pride in our work. I remember when everybody was proud of the work. I don't know how much that exists anymore. And that's sad. I sound like one of those old people. Well, this generation. Same thing my parents did when I was a kid. This generation is doomed. Cool. Oh, checking in. I have a meeting in 8 minutes. Sorry, Neil. It was probably past 8 minutes ago you made this comment, so hopefully I didn't miss you. Toronto, Ontario. Quantity over quality. Unfortunately, you're right. Hey, I caught up. If I missed one of your questions or comments, I tried to scroll through them and scan them, and I'm sorry. It's a lot to go through as one individual. Anyway, guys, I feel like this whole video was just me complaining, and I'm sorry. But it's been kind of heavy on my mind, especially since I did that video and I saw all the reaction to that video, and I'm like, holy smoke, this is not good for Harley Davidson or our industry. And then I had people, at first I thought it was just Harley dealerships, and then I had people going, well, the Honda and the Yamaha, and they're all that way. So I think we have a problem across the board. The independent shops, most of them are super busy. I know Don and Sons, they squeezed me in because I was traveling, but I put them behind for the day. He said, we're booked for like a couple weeks. So, that's good for the independent shops. They're getting more and more work because Harley's not doing the service the way they should. But I feel sorry for the people that bought their bike and then they're trying to get service, and a lot of people they're just kind of like snotty to me after they've sold me my bike. That was all they cared about, and then they went on. So anyway, guys, there are great dealerships out there. Don't let my rant discourage you. And if you find those good dealership, I want to know about them. Go on my Facebook, my YouTube, whatever, put their name in there, because I'm making a list So if I am out, I can know, hey, there's a good dealership to hit up. Because, like I said, the independents are a little harder to figure out who's good. If you're going to end up in, in somebody's dirt road, or if they're a real business. I mean, that is the challenge. Unless you can get a hold of the locals, and the locals can be like, hey, here's the person to use. So anyway, it's like 9:30. I'm going to get off here, and have a good night. You should also do a positive video on a dealership and see if the responses and views are the same. Consumers tend to toward the negative more than the positive. Laugh out loud. You're not wrong. So the last video I did was a combo. So at first I talked about the fact that the one place put the rear tire on, put too much weight on it, kind of covered up the issue and sent me down the road. But then Capital Harley Davidson took me in on a Saturday when they don't normally do service, had a guy come take care of it for me. They even gave me the rear wheel at no charge. Just charged me for new bearings, swapping the tire over, and sent me down the road. So that's a pretty good story, and it's doing well as well. So anyway, all right, guys, I'm going to peel off here. Have a great night. Thank you so much for hanging out with me again. Like I said, there's a million other things you could do, but you came here to say hi to me, and I appreciate you all. I hope you guys have a great week, an even better weekend, and I will see you next Monday right here. I don't know if Mama Badger she'll still be in Missouri. I don't know if she'll be on here with me or not, but if not, we'll figure out something. Guys, have a great week. See you later.